drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Thank you all for being with us as we look back on a not entertaining but a good point away at Luton Town yesterday. We'll talk about the injury curse that is obviously upon us significantly. And we are also going to have a chat with Lee McMahon in about 10 minutes' time to talk about his gig at Cutler's a week on Saturday. So we will definitely get an hour out of tonight, probably. Mick's back with us. How are you going, Mick?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Thank you very much. All good.
Excellent stuff. Andrew's back with us. How you doing, mate?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
And Danny's back. How's it going, Danny?
I'm not too bad, lads. Not too bad at all.
Good stuff. We have Steve going with us. Good evening. Definitely a red card. The ref bottled it. Bazza's with us. Says good evening, one and all. We need a striker. Mill 6 even everybody. Will we have enough players for next Saturday? I went and what a well-deserved point. Sarah Ogden is with us as well. I think Scott Grundy. John Henry says hello. Anybody for Danny Ward? Richie says evening all. Can all the fit strikers report to Rotherham United, please? Paula Rhodes says evening. Recovered from the trip back to the 1980s, otherwise known as Kenilworth Road, the worst ladies' lose ever. John Hinsley, Stephen Mick, loads of people are with us so far tonight. So thank you all. Philip Oxley as well. Noel Jordan. Mike says, excellent point, but boy, oh boy, what a tedious game of football. Banged it up against the trades description actors football being part of the entertainment industry. Andrew Woods 3 did the instant reaction yesterday. So just give me your kind of instant thoughts on yesterday's performance, point, and obviously the saga of unavailable players.
Well, it were. I mean, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it. It was tense at the end, but in an odd way, they never really looked like scoring either. I thought it were a well-deserved point. It just showed proper grit and teamwork, and something that we've been missing for a few years, and it seems to have come back in these past few weeks. We seem to have got this team dynamic and just throwing themselves at balls. Just you could tell they were knackered, like from about 70th minute on, but they were still putting runs in. They were still chasing balls down. The injury crisis, it's just I've never known anything like it. I mean, to lose 3 strikers within the space of 24 hours for injury is just crazy, just mental.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Let's give Mick a chance to whine some Luton fans if possible. Jack Wilshere said we expected Rotherham to set up defensively, probably not as relentlessly as that. We have to respect them. That's their playing style. That's the way they see it. They started with 2 big number 9s, so the game plan was always to put the balls into the box. We dealt with those moments really well. Now, not to get too defensive on this, Mick, but that's absolutely not our style. And if Jack Wilshere thinks that's our style, he's very, very lucky that Sam Nombe wasn't available, and very, very lucky we didn't have a full centre-half set up to go with, because that is absolutely not Rotherham United style, and it hasn't been throughout this period that we've been playing.
All Jack Wilshere's doing there is deflecting away from the fact that his team are garbage going forward. You know, if he wants to play this style of football that we're annoying their supporters after half an hour of tapping it around the back and playing it about and playing it here and playing it there and playing it nowhere, and expect the team to just open up for him, then I'm afraid he's in the wrong job, isn't he? You know, listen, they weren't far off full strength, if not full strength. And you're telling me they can't break down a team that ain't got any defenders in it? I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry, Jack. You are in the wrong job, pal. Because there is no way that you should have been playing the way you played yesterday. You should have created a lot more. Pathetic, mate. Pathetic. We didn't set up to defend because, like I said, we didn't have a single centre half. We did not have a single centre half on the pitch. We had one on the bench who's 17. So how will we set up to defend? How will we set up defensively? What sort of manager would do that? You know, you're not going to do it, are you? It's because his team can't break us down. He's got face on. Well, that's your problem, mate. Absolutely, 100% your problem. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, we'll come on to kind of individual players later on, Danny. But the more I think about the game yesterday, the more I think the point was won in the midfield. that midfield was probably the best midfield performance we've had this season in terms of structure, in terms of more than just Dan Gore playing his part. It wasn't just Dan Gore. This time Kingston was very, very good as well. Sean McWilliams had his best game in a while. So I just think we should heap some praise on the unit of midfielders rather than just Dan Gore this time, although we will praise Dan Gore later on.
Yeah, I think midfield is the one place on the pitch where we're just like, well, hopefully there's no injuries there anytime soon because we actually have it worked out. And it seems like, well, obviously Dan Gore's been consistent through the season anyway, but Sean McWilliams has come good. Keane Spencer's proved a real asset as well. Even Ian Kelly showed it up when he came on for a brief period as well. We just seem just nice in midfield at the minute, which I suppose is at least one positive where defenders and strikers are dropping like flies. At least we could put a team out of midfielders potentially and still at least control part of the pitch, which we did against Luton. They couldn't really get through the middle of the park. They could only really go wide, I noticed, during the match. And when they tried to go up the left flank, Hall stopped them. They had a bit more success on the right-hand side when they're... I forget his name. He came on in second half. He had a lot of success down the right-hand side, but we still kept it out. But I'm inclined to agree with Mick and try and upset a few Luton fans with this one. Because he says about no centre-halves. We had no senior centre-halves. We've got Joe Rafferty on the right-hand side, who is a natural right-back, but has played there and done well. Reece James has come in on the left-hand side, whereas he's more of a left-back rather than a left centre-back. And then we've got the young academy product who's basically just been given a rubber ring and gone, go in, son, jump in deep end, off you go. And it has actually turned out really well. And I think it's now his shirt to lose, if I'm being honest, even with a few centre-halves coming back. But if Luton can't break that down, that's a them issue, not an us issue. I think we set up correctly defensively with what we had, same with midfield. And we've just had bad luck up front. We were poor going forwards anyway, don't get me wrong, but after losing Hugo and Sharif and Nombe, we couldn't really do much. And if I'm being honest, Ayres didn't have the best game when he came on either. And that's why he went off later on, despite that was his first league start for us. But we dealt with Luton better than they set up to deal with us, if that makes sense. I think Luton looked at our game and thought, well, they've got a lot of injuries. We'll keep game on. We won't bother calling it off for international call-ups. We'll keep it on because we'll beat these. Oh, no. I think we kicked a bit of dirt in the faces with that one, if I'm being honest, because we refused to roll over and go, oh, no, go easy on us. We've got injuries, boo-hoo. Now you have to fight for the point, and we did, and we got one. Simple as. Yeah.
I said it on Instagram actually yesterday, but leaving Hacks on your bench at that stage of the game, as a Rotherham United fan, that game was crying out for Hacks to go into the midfield and just cause chaos for 20 minutes. It was crying out for it. But anyway, what do we know about football? Apparently nothing. In terms of the midfield, though, Andrew, I think that obviously when you have a good Rotherham team, historically, you always have a good striker in there, and you might have a Richard Wood in there, but you will always have a good midfield. You look at that Paul Wall midfield, which got us that promotion with Barlas and Wiles and Rathbone. These are very different. What we've got now are very different players, but in their same role, in their same job, in their own right, they are excellent footballers. And if we are going to have a good season, which we are building, I think we're hopefully building towards, that midfield's going to have to continue to be as good as it has been over the last 10 games or so.
Yeah, and it's like when you look at the Warney midfield and you've got Barlas there and Wiles and Rathbone, none of these players in that midfield are similar type of players, but they all kind of pick little bits and bats from each of them. So it's like Spencer's a bit Rathbone and Wiles together. Gore's just a completely different type of footballer. But I retract something what I said a few weeks ago on the swearing episode, that we need a little in the middle of the park. And he is definitely proving to be that. He's a ratter. He gets about it, but he also can travel with the ball as well. And then McWilliams has got a right engine on him.
Yeah.
I don't think he can do 90 minutes. He's hypnotised in the last 20. But then when you're running so much as he is, they just seem to be building a little bit of sort of momentum, that midfield, and the cohesion between them. They seem to know what position they should be. And they've all got a different role and they're all fulfilling it. It's very positive because we're looking. We can't. They can't get through us as quick as they used. You know, like we were like knife through butter at times. Nobody can get through us through that midfield. And then attacking wise, they've all got a bit about them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark Gowan says, insert the Sean Bean meme here. Reference to that. Yeah,
I they didn't say it because of the time.
Scott Kent said, when we lost, Hugo and Sharif went into a low block and Luton just had no answers to it. You could add that, Mick. I do agree we went into a low block. You can't deny that. That's what happened. But in the first half, when Hugo and Sharif were playing, we were the better team. We were the ones creating the chances. You look at the Hugo header, which was reasonably well dealt with. We'll talk about the non-red card incident again, which was a fantastic bit of football. The game was what built up to that happening. The players going off caused us to do something which really hurt us. Any attackers. Because for me, we were the best attacking side in the first half.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. Again, it just shows what nonsense Wilshere speaks, but. To be fair to him, he's a manager, isn't he? And he's got to make excuses, if you like, or give reasons, or whatever you want to call it, to the home supporters as to why they didn't turn over a team that they should be beating. So, yeah, our hand was tied certainly in that second half from an attacking point of view, because we just had no options up front at all. I was disappointed in Josh Ayres. I can't lie. He seemed slow. He seemed ineffective. He didn't appear to have a sprint in him. I don't know whether he was nervous, whether nerves got the better of him or what. He's a young kid, so I'm not being critical of him. I'm just you got to say what you see, haven't you? And I'm sure he's a decent player, and he'll turn out to be so. But he unfortunately he didn't take his chance yesterday. But even then. We really didn't have a lot going forward. We didn't have that experience. We didn't have that bite and fight or pace up front. So our hands were tied. What did he expect us to do? Roll over, like Danny said. It's just stupid, isn't it? Whatever. We were the better side in the first half for periods. That first half, certainly attacking wise, they had a couple of chances, didn't they? Probably in the game they had a couple of chances, but. Did Dawson have any actual saves to make?
I don't think so. No, the saves he made were kind of cross-come shots, weren't they? So they weren't actually great chances. Maybe the Jacob Brown one where he's flicked it rather than actually done something clever with it. He's just tried to be too clever.
Yeah. Whatever.
They had that Yates chance, didn't they? Did it clip post? And then they had that one with Brown where he tried to back heel it in, and it rolled into Dawson. But Dawson didn't have a save to make. A couple of punches out and Cross was claimed. But he was never under any pressure.
No, I agree. He what's his face? I'm sure talked about it in pre-match about Dawson being more commanding. And my God, he was more commanding on Saturday. They were really good. Matt Miller says, are we heading for a slagging off of the referee for the Sheriff foul and no advantage denying McWilliams? I sense a storm brewing. You sense correctly, Mike. We will come on to that. Do not worry. The Bold Wolf said, I'd much rather have a go playing attacking football when we have more options, of course. Playing it out the back is so ineffective and says that Wilshere is blaming us for their failure. The Bold Wolf is Wilshere in relation to Russ Martin. Yeah, I think he might be. He's from the same school anyway, as it seems. Let's dive in. Let's just dive into the controversial moment of the game, Danny. The only real talking point of the game is the non-red card and the non-advantage. We've all had time. Us three talked about the interaction yesterday. We're very, very happy. We've all had time to look at it from a few different angles. Has your view changed at all?
No. No, not in the slightest. I'm still echoing what Keith Hackett put on Twitter immediately after it happened. An ex-professional, I believe, Premier League referee, if my memory serves. I think so. He said it's a red card challenge and it should be advantage. If the referee stops it, it's for the red card. And if he doesn't stop it, it's because he's playing advantage. And he did neither. And the decision suited Luton best because it stopped our attack and they kept a player on the pitch. And it just sort of everything went against us. I mean, I get the argument that he's on the halfway line and it's like at least 30 yards until it's a potential scoring opportunity. But at that moment in time, Sheriff is the last man and it is a foul. And I imagine if VAR looked at it or it was in a Premier League game, there would be a much stronger call for it to be looked at, and they would probably go and look at it. Because I remember not too long ago where a similar situation happened to Man City, and they went absolutely apoplectic that they didn't play the advantage. And don't get me wrong, Haaland is a much faster and better player than McWilliams is. I'm not saying that, but the exact same situation was there, and they had the half yard on the defender, and they went apoplectic without an advantage. So we should be doing the same because it is an advantage. McWilliams gets there first. And if there is no advantage, that's when you bring it back. But if the player looks like he's going to get there first, you have to play the advantage. Because, again, if it's not, you pull it back, give the foul. And if McWilliams carries on, and it's however many seconds it is for an advantage, and then loses the ball, you've played the advantage, and the game carries on. Simple as that. But like I said, the referee does the exact opposite of what he's meant to do and somehow gives the ball away in Luton's favour, even though we get a free kick for it. I honestly don't know what he's thinking with it. It's an absolute howler of a decision. So I'm backing what I said yesterday before going to work. I was still fuming at work about it, if I'm being honest. The amount of people that I said, have you seen Rotherham's game, that referee decision? And I showed them it. When the highlights came out, I started showing people, and it's like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that the only thing we got were a free kick and he got a yellow card. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, Jeff.
Yeah, I think we can all agree there's no qualms about the advantage. I think referee's made a mistake. I think he's blew too early. I think a good referee gives himself half a second and allows the play to play on. You can't, that's not defendable. He's made a mistake, and I'm sure he'll hold his hand up. The part that's kind of up for debate, Andrew, is the red card. John Morrell rightly puts out the last man isn't part of the rule. The rule is a denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. It's not a guaranteed goal, but an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. If Sharif doesn't get dragged down, does he go and get... The question is, if he doesn't get dragged down, would Sharif go and get a shot off? That's the question. Then what's your view on that?
Probably not. It's that far away from goal. When the incident happened, I was more frustrated about the advantage not being... Because Williams appears to be away from the Luton defender. Whether he's slowed down because of the whistle, I don't know. But so the red card kind of never came to my mind until I kind of thought about it after. I thought, well, he is the last man, but it's at the halfway line. So there's so much that could happen between that. It's not like it's on edge of penalty area and he's going to just about to get a shot away. So I was less angry about the red card element, a bit more angry about the advantage. Because I mean, we don't do well against 10 men anyway, do we? So it's not. It don't really bother me that. So it were. I'm not. It were two bad decisions, really. So he's just neshed it basically, the referee, on both decisions, and he's not made the right one. Like I said, everybody makes mistakes. He's a human being, isn't he, at the end of the day? Yeah,
absolutely. Mick, and he just neshed it, bottled it, whatever word you want to use, Mick. He took the easy option out of the referee. Martin Miller sums up the advantage. The issue for me was the ref didn't blow up at the instant of foul, but waited a moment or two and then blow up. That's poor refereeing, in his opinion, Mick. And I think that's what it was. And it was the easiest thing to do was then to give the yellow card, because I don't think refs want to give red cards if they can avoid it. And he didn't want to give a red card, so he felt like he didn't have to.
Well, I'm just sat here reading the guidance because I'm boring. And the guidance is that it says the referee judges if a goal scoring opportunity is obvious by considering the direction of play, which is directly towards goal, the number of defenders, which apart from the one that did the body slam is none, but crucially the distance to the goal and the likelihood of the attacker gaining or keeping control of the ball. So he's got to think about the distance for the goal and its halfway line. And that will have been at the forefront of his mind, I would have thought, in terms of whether it's a red card or not. And I'll be honest with you, if it's me and it's on halfway line, the distance to the goal trumps the red card. I think it should be, personally, but the rules or the laws or whatever you want to call them say otherwise, and certainly the guidance says otherwise. So the yellow card, it would appear, according to the guidelines, is the right decision. Whether it is right in terms morally, if you like, for the want of a better term, is another matter entirely. But yeah, the advantage is just, he didn't even blow up straight away, and that's the issue. I think that's the problem. and he's got himself into a right mess, a complete mess. You know, he can't. I don't think he can get away from the distance from the goal argument for the red card. It's there in black and white, and the yellow card is probably right, but the advantage is just it's a schoolboy error, isn't it? But like Andrew says, having had 24 hours to calm down about it now, you know, we all make mistakes, and we do all make mistakes, and he's made an absolute howler there. To be fair to him, he didn't have a bad game other than that, really.
I think a really decent game. Yeah.
There were a few obvious dives on their part that he didn't.
And our part. Don't forget Jordan Hugel for himself apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Which he didn't buy. So Jordan Hugel. But yeah, it's just a mistake in it. It's a mistake, and it's frustrating. Hugely frustrating.
Yeah. In a game like that, where the chances were such a premium as well, that's maybe adds. You know, if there were loads of chances each end, then you know, I think it's less so much. But it was basically going to be the only chance of the entire game. McWilliams going through, and it's who knows how the game would have played differently.
I think Mike's nailed it. Mike's nailed it there.
Yeah.
Technically, yellow was a correct decision in the spirit of the game. Probably not.
Yeah. I think that's probably right. Chris Ellis says, would we as the away team got away with it? Well,
with our track record, probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. Look, referee's made a mistake. It's just, you know, if he had a bad game in general, we'd be having to go at him like Ross Joyce a few weeks ago, where he just had a terrible game overall. He's made one big decision badly. I'm sure he'll learn from that.
It's probably the worst mistake against us this season, but not the worst performance. That was the other. So we're like that one decision, but other than that, we're forgetful as a referee. We're not to go.
That's what we want. That's what we want. That's what we don't want to notice him. And I think I agree. I think he had a decent game. But Danny, let's not forget about the build-up. If that ends up with a goal, we're saying that's one of the goals of the season from our perspective. There's a really, really nice tidy bit of play out wide. The ball from Hugel into shoot is a fantastic ball. And obviously the ball back over the top to McWilliams would have been a fantastic ball through as well. It's the best bit of football of the entire game, comfortably.
Oh, yeah, easily. It felt like a very flat game of football where Luton would try and attack, we'd keep them out. We'd try and attack, but a bit softer, somehow win a set piece and then not beat the first man, which, you know, we've done quite a lot this season. But then there are certain instances where we tried something different and an opportunity appeared, like with Hugel's header in the 6-yard box, which, to be fair, was an easy save for their keeper, but the best chance of the game at that point anyway. And then, like you say, we actually played football, and if it had gone all the way and in another universe McWilliams scores it or he squares it and somebody else scores it, if Sheriff isn't fouled and he carries on running as well, we would be talking about one of the best team goals we've had this season so far, because the little bit of build-up play, it was effectively after a slight attack from Luton as well. A counter-attack's a bit strong because it wasn't really an attack from them. But it's that little break-in play where we go forward, and it had the potential to be fantastic, but Luton shut the door slightly nefariously on the halfway line, and it was stopped. But if we start playing football like that, which we have done over the period of 7 games unbeaten, then we are going to be a difficult team to win against, which we've proven that. You know, the only reason Swindon won was because it was an off day, which happens. But in terms of league, yeah, exactly. But because in terms of the league, we seem a lot more organised and we know what we're doing, and the plan is now coming together quite well. We are a difficult team to play against, and now managers are making up reasons why they can't break us down, even though it's completely untrue.
That's really the Rotherham United way, you know. Managers making up excuses why they can't break us down. That's the real Rotherham United way that we've been missing. Right, we're going to take a break from talking about Rotherham United, but we're going to keep talking about Rotherham. We have Lee from LPMC joining us to talk to us. Very festive, Lee. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, it's up already.
Lee, it's November, man.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. It got out at loft yesterday, and I had my arm twisted and it got put up. So I thought I'd show it you.
Oh, yeah. So now we're going to.
Sorry, Matt, she actually told me that I had to show it you as well. She'd just gone to bed. I was on settee and she went, "Get treeing."
All right. It looks a good tree. It's a very good tree. Right, we're going to talk about Rotherham, promote the town because something we love to do. We're all very proud of the town we're in, Lee. And just you're doing a gig in week on Saturday, connected to the Millermen 25 with some other Rotherham guys kind of supporting you as well. Just talk to everybody about it.
Yeah, so obviously back in January we did the Millermen 25 at Millmore, where we got like 1,000 of us after the Bolton game over to Millmore to lend the voices to an updated Millermen. And on the back of that, we pressed it all to vinyl, which came out in June. I think we did just under 25 grand in the end on the whole project for the hospice, which was obviously fantastic. So this show a week on Saturday on the 29th, it's really just to celebrate all of that. The work that people put in, people like Kev Johnson, John Brecken, Jamie Mitchell from the hospice, Ken Booth allowing us into Millmore, Cole Lucock, and there's so many more. There's so many more that were behind the scenes that worked so hard to put that day on. And yeah, so I was absolutely delighted to be part of it and play my part in all of that. So this show is to celebrate that and almost draw a line under it for this year.
Yeah, and Mick, I'll let you go into this one, but we went last year for a similar show, and we had a really, really good night. So if anybody's away in Arin, tell people why they should be paying tickets, not only because it raises a bit more money for the Millman 25 project, but to have a good night as well.
I can't because Lee's here, isn't he? I don't want to embarrass lad. It's a great night, honestly. This I can't. This lad does not get the recognition that he deserves in terms of the quality of the music that he puts out, and the live shows are absolutely fantastic. So honestly, genuinely, get down there. It is worth every single penny, even if it were going straight into Lee's pocket, and it's not. So genuinely, get down there. It is going to be a really, really good night. He's excellent live.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm glad you got me email, Mick.
You got the script.
Right, Lee. Have I covered everything there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just tell about the other guys that are supporting you, Lee, because I see it's a Rotherham only show, isn't it, that you've got going?
Yeah, well, when we started the project, for me, it wasn't just about the club and the fans, even though that was the main focus. It was about trying to do something for the community and shine a light on the town. So made the conscious decision to get all the bands that are playing on the night to be from Rotherham. So we've got the Tivolis that are playing. That obviously it's quite close to my old band's name, but it's not the same. But they're a great band. They're a great band. And they've only been going for a short while, but they've been doing some great things in and around Sheffield. We've got a band called Aftershock. That it's only their third show, but they're a very promising band as well. And then a band called At the Arcade that are fantastic. I've been on the same bill as them a couple of times now at Wentfest this year and last year. Yeah, they're well worth the watch. And then we'll be on afterwards. And yeah, we've got some. I've got some. Well, I think I'm worth watching. That's all. Let's just say
that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's nice to shine. We get a lot of crap on this town, don't we? And a lot of people talking this town down. But we've got good people like Lee and other people that you've already mentioned that do a lot of good stuff. So we highly recommend it. Just let everybody know where they can buy tickets. I think I've got a banner, and I'm pretty sure it's in the show notes as well. But I'll put the banner because let everybody know where they can get tickets if they haven't.
Yeah, so the tickets are online at ctickets.com. The actual link is ridiculously long. I'd never remember it. But if you go to my website, which is lpmcmusic.com, there's a link to tickets there. There's also physical tickets available from Chantry Brewery, the Cutlers, and Rotherham Hospice as well. So if you're not bothered about buying them online, then you can buy them physically. But we had word at the beginning of the week that we're now 70% sold. So they're starting to move quick. So that's obviously really pleasing.
What I've done is also found that it is in the show notes. If anyone wants to go in the show notes, you can click the link. I also added the link to the comments as well. So if you want to go from there, Matt says, for what it's worth, I've had my funeral plan changed to include drop me off in Rotherham in it. Something to look forward to then. Yeah, I don't think you're the only one.
Matt, there's the story about the actual Millerman one, the Millerman track that I rewrote. It didn't start as an idea for the hospice. It was I did it at one of Kev's Legends nights, and I think it got filmed and put on social media. And the lady contacted me about 2 weeks later saying, was it recorded? And I said no. And her father had just passed away, and the funeral was like 2 weeks afterwards. So I recorded it actually for that lady, and then from then the hospice idea kind of took flight after that. So yeah, it's that was the origin of it.
That's lovely. That's lovely. I finished on just as a Rotherham fan, doing obviously the Millman 25, but also doing the video for I think it's Good Times are Coming at Millmore as well. Those, as a Rotherham fan, they're pretty good things to do, aren't they?
Well, obviously, for people that know me and might have followed me for a while, it weren't my first time doing a video at Millmore. I'm just happy I kept my trousers on this time. No, it was great. I mean, that all came about through Carl Lucock and John Breckin. I got Breck to obviously be in it, and I mean, just great, isn't it? It's just it's just great. It's inexplicable. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. I
What you going to mention about a competition, Lee? We talked about. I maybe may have preempted this a couple of weeks ago, but anyway, let's
I'm glad you're on the ball now. So what I wanted to do was I've just ran a competition for ticket holders to win one of my latest EPs, which is called The Lonely Boy Bar Part 1, but as a follow-up and to encourage people to maybe buy tickets that haven't got them yet, especially if you're a Rotherham fan. I'd like to offer 2 of the Millermen vinyls that we did as free prizes for anyone that's got tickets, anyone that's bought tickets by 5 o'clock next Sunday. And then I'll do the draw, or you can do the draw on here if you want. It's up to you. And for you guys to announce the winners.
We can do that. We can make ourselves useful.
So the only criteria is that you just need to have tickets for the gig by 5 o'clock next Sunday, and then you're automatically entered into it. So yeah, I did the draw for the Lonely Boy one, and the guy that won the CD hasn't come forward yet. That was 4 days ago. So
okay,
maybe you don't want it.
I'm sure I'll tell you. If you're watching, get in touch. Get in touch with Lee.
We've got over 150 people watching this now, so get yourselves over to see tickets. Get some tickets bought. It's for Rotherham Hospice, and you get to see 3 bands plus Lee. It's going to be a really good night. Really, really good night. And you also might get the opportunity to buy Matt a pint. Who knows?
That is an option. And I'm sure Mick will be available to sign anything you want as well, like I mentioned last time. Anything you need signing, Mick will sign it for you.
No body parts.
Yeah. No, anyway. Thank you very much, Lee. We appreciate all the work you're doing. Anybody who hasn't checked out Lee and LPMC, do so. Please do so.
Thanks, mate. Before I go, could I just make a point of mentioning Mick Hill, who sadly passed away yesterday. He obviously worked at Chantry Brewery and was a big part of Chantry Brewery and the Cutlers. He actually booked this show that I'm doing a week on Saturday. He's always been supportive of me and music and bands from Rotherham. And he was another guy that had Rotherham in his heart, and he'll be a sad loss to many people. So sending love and thoughts to his family and friends.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here. Yeah. Thank you very much, Lee. We'll see you a week on Saturday.
Thanks very much. And thanks again for all your support with everything. Really appreciate it.
No worries.
Anytime you need us, Graham.
Always.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
See you later.
Cheers,
Cheers, Lee. Stuff. Yeah, links in the show notes and lastly links in the comments. Also, do check that out as well. Right, let's go back to Rotherham and talk about injuries because we've got to. We've just got to. Like in the game itself, Andrew, things were looking pretty good. You know, we were marginally the better team, certainly creating the better chances. Hugo rolls his ankle and has to come off just before half time, and Sharif, with his hamstrings made of chewing gum, comes off at half time because he's felt one of those as tight as well. I don't even mention the Sam Nombe injury, which allegedly is a quad injury, which the club are waiting an update in terms of length. It's just unbelievable. We've got 0 strikers, literally 0.
Yeah. It's the Hugo one was really unlucky. Although when you look at the Luton defenders, like he was trying to ride a bike on the floor, and I think he either he caught him or he tried to move out of the way, and that's when he twisted his ankle. Well, that's just bad luck, isn't it? Really bad luck. And then with Sharif, I mean, we're not. It's like we can't risk him. Maybe this is because of the Everton stuff. I don't entirely know. But as soon as there's a slight potential injury, he's off. I did notice, to be fair, I noticed about 5 minutes before half time, there were a couple of balls that went into channel that he just made no effort to get to. And I said to my young one, I said, it wouldn't surprise me if he went off at half time and then he didn't come out. But it's just be 3 strikers in 24 hours. And obviously one of them, Nombe. As soon as Nombe is not in team, you panic straight away anyway. Yeah. But they've admitted it. There's something that's not right. The club have admitted that. I'm sure said it after the Orient game, didn't he? He said something's not right. We need to look at what we're doing. So whether that is, as everybody on Twitter will have you believe that Ross Burberry is an absolutely shocking fitness coach, or whether it is just a bit of bad luck. I can't imagine Ross Burberry is a shocking fitness coach, but maybe he's working too hard. You know, he's a fit guy. Maybe it's an expectation that's too much. I don't know. Is it the pitch at the training ground? That's another urban legend that we keep chucking out as well. But a lot of footballers are getting injuries at the moment. There's other teams who are having this same issue as well. I think somebody mentioned Harrogate are I know it's just random. I just happened to see that yesterday. They're in a shocking position as well. Just way of the world, isn't it? Playing a lot of football.
We play a lot of football at me, absolutely. Rob was one of those. It looked organised. Hampshire doing a great job. Serious question marks need to be asked of Ross Burberry now. Quad and hamstring injuries are becoming a bit of a theme. I think we can't quash this conspiracy, Mick, because we aren't in the know. But if Ross Burberry was the cause of this, he wouldn't be here anymore. He just wouldn't be here. Matt Hampshire wouldn't stand for of a guy constantly putting his players of danger of being injured. It's just it can't be. It just can't be. That can't be the case, can it? Because otherwise he wouldn't be here, Mick.
I mean, I'm reluctant to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I do. You know, we've got to have somebody to blame, some person to blame, haven't we? That seems to be the theme. He is the fitness coach, and maybe he's worked him harder than he should have done. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe they're playing too many games, and maybe there's a combination of all those things that you've talked about there, pictures and everything else. Everton, in terms of Sharif and how windy they are about, you know, any sort of tweak that he gets, he's off again, isn't he? You've got to bear in mind that we weren't able to hit the ground running this season, even in pre-season, because we got players coming in reasonably late, and we needed to get them up to speed, and we're only just up to speed now. So they are going to have been worked hard, and maybe they'll say that, yeah, we've worked them too hard. Maybe that will be the outcome. I don't know. But Ross Burberry's proved his worth previously with us. Now, whether his methods have changed or not, I don't know, because, like you said, we're not there on the training ground. But I would argue they probably haven't. He may have improved slightly or whatever. He will have developed his coaching methods, as does everybody. But to put the blame fairly and squarely at somebody's feet and say they shouldn't be in a job, it blows my mind a little bit, really, because we all know when we actually sit back, there is more than one reason that these things happen. You know, it's a set of circumstances rather than just one individual's training methods or whatever. You know, I didn't see anybody asking for Steve Evans to be sacked when the players weren't fit last season, which they clearly weren't. You know, when they couldn't put a 90-minute shift in, nobody was asking for him to be sacked because he weren't training them. But yet here we are, expecting the fitness coach to be sacked because we've got a number of injuries. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. It is concerning. It is a worry that we are struggling. But like Andrew said there, so are other teams. Maybe some to a lesser degree, maybe some to a greater degree. We don't really know. But we got to concentrate on ourselves. And yeah, there is a problem because we ain't got any players. And I'm sure, absolutely 100% sure that they'll be working to find out what those reasons are and deal with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris says Paul was at the Lincoln game and said that they're having similar issues at the McDonald's game. Philip Oxley is concerned that most injuries are hamstring related. The hamstring issue goes back to Matt Taylor's time. This isn't new. Steve Evans had similar issues as well with injuries as well. This isn't a Ross Burberry or necessarily these issues have been happening literally since Matt Taylor was here. And we all criticised Matt Taylor for signing injury-prone players and everything else. Maybe it wasn't his fault that they all got injured, or maybe something he did. But Scott Kent says, didn't Huddersfield get rid of Ross Burberry because of injuries all the time? Their chairman went public with it also, if I remember rightly. I have heard that rumour before, but what I will add is if their chairman told me the sky was blue, I'd check 2 or 3 times first before I believed him. He is an absolute clown of a man, the Huddersfield chairman, a serious clown. He blame everybody else except himself. So that may all be true, Scott. I've not first heard it, but again, context for certainly.
And over the recent seasons, there's been a lot more issues at Huddersfield than just players being injured.
Yeah, exactly. Harry says, wasn't Scars the fitness coach last season? Probably is the answer. Honestly, no idea. Jim Wilkinson says he's trying to keep his players past January. Maybe it's a ploy, Danny. Maybe it's just a cunning plan. Nombe's not actually injured. There's just Sam, I'm really sorry. We've had a scan and you're not available until February the 1st. You're not available. I'm really, really sorry, Sam. Do you think it's one of those?
I mean, if that's a cunning plan, it's one of Baldrick's cunning plans, isn't it? Because it doesn't quite add up. But no, I think one way we can put in it is, I know Amshaw a bit ago said it was bad luck, which I think it is, but I think it's bad luck in the sense of it's a combination of different things through the act of bad luck, which has put us in this situation, rather than it just being whoops-a-daisy and other one's injured. I mean, Matt Taylor highlighted in his interview with Gab Sutton, which is a great interview, by the way. Go over to Gab's Twitter and watch it because it's great. He highlighted the issues at Roundwoods in that we have since fixed some of those, but the main thing is Roundwood is still a very heavy training ground because it's an old cricket field. You know, it's not, and obviously it's not going to be state of the art, but it wasn't designed as a training ground. It was designed as a cricket pitch. So it is going to have some issues that other training grounds don't, where it's potentially very heavy on your legs, and that might lead to hamstring issues or hamstring tendons, etc. There wasn't that much training going on last season, which we've heard from quite a few people through various grapevines. So again, that's a how do I word it? It's a because we weren't training as much last year. Now we're in a much higher intensity training situation. There will be more injuries from that. As we've said, players were late to the party because we signed them with Knox, but then Rotherham United were not going to pay loads of money out. We are going to get the little ones that are injured or they haven't played as much, but we turn them into good players. I mean, take Josh Benson, for example. He's playing his best football for a long time under us. And then he's also just bad luck, So it's a combination of loads of things, in my opinion, at least. Take it as you will, but in my opinion, it's a combination of loads of things that have put us in this situation, which is very unfortunate. I'm sure, with it being his first management gig, but I suppose the best baptism is with fire when it comes to a manager. And overall, I think he's handling it quite well, if I'm being honest. But I think you're right, Matt, when you said we look for someone to blame. It's like, it's quite obviously Ross Burberry's fault because he's the fitness guy. No, that's not. Why do we always want to sack somebody? You know what I mean?
By the way, sorry, his job's, I think, head of medical. I don't think he's the fitness coach. I think he's head of medical. Or right, something like that. He isn't technically fitness coach. So
if he's head of medical, he's the one that's having to deal with all the reports as to why it's happening. So again, basically, why are we targeting him? It doesn't add up in my head. I mean, why can't we just look at the situation and go, yeah, it's a bit shit, but excuse my French, but we're dealing with it. We're getting results out of it still. We can't use injuries to blame our form on because we are still in good form. Is it ideal? God, no. But we're dealing with it, and that's the best situation. We're making the best of a bad situation is what I'm trying to get at. And maybe in January when we sign some more players, maybe with free markets, maybe this time next season when some players have bedded in more, we won't see this sort of thing. But as for right now, we're making the best of it and we're getting on with it. And no one deserves to be sacked for it.
Head of performance is his title.
I've had some criticism in the past for saying that performances are more important than results. And, well, the results now are showing that we're 9 games unbeaten. So, with all the injuries, despite all the injuries. So, what's most important? Is it the injuries or is it the results? Yeah. You can't have it both ways. The results are that we are 9 games unbeaten. We've played some very, very good football with a hugely depleted squad. So that indicates to me that when the squad isn't hugely depleted, the results will be even better or should be even better. So, I don't know.
Yeah. A couple of things on that. First of all, Mick's fallen into the trap of saying we're 9 games unbeaten, which does include an FA Cup draw. I knew I'd get him to come to the Myran way of thinking. I knew I could get him in.
You only knew that because you know I can't count.
Also, I think the way we're playing as well doesn't help. We're a team that's press. We're all about the sprints. We're all about the intense running. That's going to cause injuries. When you play that way, you are going to get injured playing that way. If we play like we did on Saturday every week, we get no injuries because there were basically no high sprints. It wasn't a high energy game. We get no injuries, but because we are a high energy team, that's going to cause injuries. There's nothing. Yeah. It's just how your body works, and it's no coincidence that somebody like Jordan Hugill can't sprint because he ain't got the body for it at the minute. He hasn't been getting muscle injuries. The injury he's got is an ankle injury. That's no coincidence at all. That's the case. I don't think anyway. But anyway, what this has led to, Andrew, is the potential of dipping into the free transfer market. This is fraught with danger. This has never ever worked out for this football club, and even for others. Somebody in the comments, please let me know. When was the last time Rotherham United signed a free agent during the season that worked out? We've got 3 or 4 horror stories, haven't we, Andrew? It's a really tough thing to do this.
It was never. I can't think of an example off the top of my head where it has worked out. I put something on. I retweeted or reposted Paul Davis' thing and put that the problem is with this. We're now in November and these players have been free available since August. So if they were any good and they were fit, then they would have already got a club. So there's always that risk. But then I saw a list of players and I'm thinking, they could do a job. But they're not match fit. So even if they come in now, they're not going to be match fit until probably mid to end of December because they'll run around a bit and they'll get physically fit, won't they? But there's a difference, isn't there, being able to run a bit and actually being match fit. So it's fraught with danger, but then depending on who you're bringing in, it's potentially low risk because they haven't. If they've got nothing on the horizon, they've not been paid a wage since August. They might come in at quite a low salary base. So you kind of think, well, it is potentially a lower risk, but then you're looking at somebody who's maybe taking a squad place up as somebody who you could bring in January who could really improve the team. So you've got to weigh it up. And I also think one of the people say, we need this fellow who used to play for Oxford. He keeps getting mentioned. I forget his name now. But I don't really think we need defenders. I know we did for a while. Jules is coming back. We've now had the emergence of Douglas, and we've got Baptiste coming back pretty soon. I mean, Rafferty plays a couple of games. He's injured again, but he's all right 5 minutes here and there. So we're actually defensively seem to be okay. And there's also Tom Holmes. I keep forgetting about Tom Holmes.
He's back next week.
Yeah, we possibly need more another forward. If we've got if the only forward option we've got is Ayres, then we need somebody, and we're desperate for that. Yeah,
with Andrew Barlas as Leon Best, he scored against Derby, but Leon Best wasn't that good for me. Again, proved wrong. The last one I can remember was Jody Morris, and that's 2002, or whenever it was.
He was great. I remember being at Stoke, and he had a man at match game at Stoke. I think we won either 2-0 or 2-1. Oh, he was classic. Very good.
He was brilliant. Yeah, imagine where we'd have gone if he'd have stayed, but he didn't. But that's the last one I can remember which was any good.
I'm going to touch wood by saying this, so everyone touch wood with this. Surely they can't be as bad as Daniel Ayala. Surely, touch wood.
I'm going to give a sort of play devil's advocate here. When he actually played, he were all right, Ayala, when he didn't want a day off, and then he decided to get sent off. He weren't a bad defender. He actually weren't too bad, but then if you come on a bit tired, I might get sent off here. I can have a couple of weeks off. So other than that, he were all right.
Yeah.
Solid centre off, but his attitude stunk. He was just like, I'm not bothered. I'm getting sent off. He had more red cards in however long his spell was in a few months, and I think Richard Wood had his entire career.
Yeah.
Probably. You're crazy. Harry says, bring Freddie back. Freddie is available. Look, I mean, to be fair, Mick, I'm of the view that we don't actually need a free transfer in. Sharif will be available. Now, I don't think Sharif can play 90 minutes. We are learning Sharif can't play 90 minutes. But Sharif's going to be available. If Hugo is only a twisted ankle, let's say, that's not going to be longer than 2 weeks. Hopefully. Again, touch wood. I mean, best case scenario, he could play against Redden if it's something really, really minor. You've got to adapt and just, I know it's not ideal, but just play Benson as a false nine or play Martha up there as something different.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more against this free agent talk. I honestly, I don't see an upside. I honestly don't see an upside to it.
No, I would agree with you. Scott's put in the comments there about United have done it with Bamford and give him 8 weeks to prove himself. Maybe that's an option, but otherwise, you're doing what Andrew said there. You're taking up a squad position come January when we're wanting to improve. So that's not really ideal. We're going to have to wait and see, aren't we? Because it may be, like you said, that Jordan Hugo will be back next week. If it's just a twist, it looked a bit nasty, but it didn't look terrible.
Terrible, yeah.
And I accept he couldn't walk on it straight away afterwards, and he had to come off. But hopefully that's more precautionary than anything else. We've got Martha back. He can do a job up there. There's no doubt about it. We don't know what's happening with Sam Nombe at the moment. Yeah, that's probably going to be a few weeks, you would have thought. I am with you. I think I'm with you. Unless there's somebody blindingly obvious that's up to speed and can do a job on a short-term basis for us, then let's try and stick it out. Let's try and tough it out.
Yeah, I think whoever comes in, they might. I just think we're in such a position that they'll have us over a barrel. They'll think they can have us over a barrel. Now I want a contract to end at season. I want you paying me till end at season, and that would be just a disaster. Well, potentially a disaster. Look, let's wait and see. We'll obviously have a better idea when we know our next show, which will be Thursday. I assume there will have been another pre-match presser, so we'll have either a new signing or a better update on Hugo and Nombe. If Hugo is fit, Danny, let's just throw this scenario out there. If Hugo is fit, is that enough between now and January before we can bring in another proper striker?
In terms of making do, then I'd say yes, because like you say, we still have Sharif on the bench because I don't know why, but Everton seem to have a noose round their hands or something and just go, you will play him when we tell you to play him, even though he's in our shirt, not theirs. Anyway.
We're assuming that, though, aren't we? We're
assuming that, yeah. But from what I saw of Hugel's injury, he's massively gone over on his ankle. So it could be anything from a week whilst his ankle effectively just re-jolts itself and doesn't hurt anymore, or has an injection or whatever, or he'll have done a tendon with how he rolled it. It's very difficult with that. So I think Hugel might have to go for a scan just to make sure there's no damage beyond a week's healing or whatever. So again, that's a wait and see. In terms of other strikers, I think Atete might be going back in January because he's done nothing and he's just injured. Same with Josh Kayode because, bless him, he's not done anything, which is a real shame with him being an academy product, but he just hasn't been up to muster at all. And for our own sake, we're going to have to probably release him. So thankfully, he's on a pay-as-you-play basis. And then we'll wait and see with Nombe. But I think if Hugel is fit, we can make do with him and with Martha and Benson in behind him as the 2 10s. If Hugel isn't fit and it's an extended period on the sidelines, which we've never had with Jordan Hugel, then I think free agent market will have to be dipped into. But like you say, I fully agree. I don't think we have to do that unless it's absolutely necessary. But when it's that case, players will try and shaft us where they can, can't they? You're in desperate need for a striker. I want a contract till end of season. None of this until January. Say I've done nonsense. So we have to play it very, very coy. But we've not really done that with contracts, have we? So we'll wait and see what happens with Hugel and Nombe. If it's good, we can make do. If it's bad on both accounts, then we're gonna have to. Unfortunately, unless we can play airs up there, but I don't know. We call McGuckin, maybe? I don't know.
Get Josie Kelly back.
All of that. Look, I think Matt Amshaw has a bit of trust from us all. He should have a bit of trust from us. He's always silenced the haters on Twitter, which is funny to see. We've got trust whatever Matt Amshaw desires to do between now and January, and then hopefully Tony gives him a bit of something to spend in January to bring somebody in somewhere. But like I said, we'll as a group know much more on Thursday. I'm sure Matt will know tomorrow, to be honest. We'll know more by Thursday. We should say, while we're here, not congratulations, but praise to Johnny Marth for scoring. Scored his first international goal in midweek. Keeper's got some serious question marks on that, I tell you now, geez. So I'm not going to take it away from that. That's really, really good. And if they avoid defeat in Jamaica on Wednesday morning, 1:00 Wednesday morning, they'll be going to the World Cup officially. Wow. Which is fantastic. So I'm not stopping up to watch it. I can tell you all that now. But I will be checking. First thing on Wednesday morning when I wake up, I will be checking how Curacao have done on, which is something I never thought I'd say. But we certainly will be. We've gone long on time a little bit, Andrew, but I refuse to go any further to finish show without talking about Dan Gore. I just refuse. He's just a classic lone player that I've fallen in love with stupidly. Yeah. He gets better and better and week on week, and he was best player on pitch yesterday. Comfortably best player on pitch on both sides.
By a mile. He's like a brilliant defensive midfielder, but he's also amazing at carrying the ball and he can spot a pass. He's one of these players where you think, how the hell have we even got him? He feels a step above where we actually are. But I'm glad we've got him and enjoying while we've got him. But he rarely loses the ball. And he's like, I don't know, there's just something about him. He's like a little ratter, but then he can carry it. He's like the best of everything you want in that type of midfielder. And I love the fact that he's constantly winding players up as well. Everybody hates him. You can tell he's just constantly winding them up. And I love that. What a swear here, but a proper shit out of a player. He's great. I love it.
Yeah, he is. I absolutely. He's like the most elegant street fighter you'll ever see.
Yeah. And he looks about 9-year-old as well, doesn't he? He's still. I mean, I'm 45 now, so they all look young, but he looks even younger. He looks like a kid.
He does. I made the mistake earlier of kind of looking at his wage at Manchester United and see if it fits into our wage structure. He's not on much, He really ain't on much at Man U. He's on about $5,000 a week. He's just.
There's going to be people looking at him. If Man United do not recall him and send him somewhere else to try and get a return on their investment kind of thing, then somebody's going to be looking at him from the Championship. Even like maybe one of the teams who go up out of League One might be looking at him, but he's definitely got a skill set to be playing at a higher level than we are currently playing.
Yeah, I agree, Mick. And it's one of those things that for Dan Gore, the best thing to do would be to stay at Rotherham United till the end of the season. And from a Man U perspective, if they aren't going to sell him in January, is to keep him somewhere like us. Because by the end of the season, how much will his value have risen if he manages to play a full season? And we're probably not going to go up, but he'll certainly have a good season with us. So maybe if you squint just right, it actually does make sense to keep him at us, so that value increases by the end. Because it's only 20 or something like that. It's not like he's 23 and he is where he's still improving. So maybe it does make sense for him to stay at the end of the season while he's playing every week.
Even if I take my Rotherham United hat off, I would say it makes perfect sense. Because of his age, he needs to get a full season under his belt at senior level. It's his first season at senior level. And if you bring him back in January and throw him into a Championship club, one, he's going to get less experience, and two, he's going to get experience where he might not be able to quite cut it, which is going to affect his confidence and affect his development. What he's doing here is he's gaining confidence and he's developing week on week on week. Why would you stop that and then with the chance that you might, stop that development or stall that development, get him in for the season, bring him back to Man United as a much better player, and that's what will happen if he stays. If he stays and goes back to Man United in May, June next year, he will be 2 or 3 times the player he was when he came here, and probably 2 or 3 times the player he is now, and that's some player.
And value, and money, much value as well.
So for me, but again, what do we know? It makes perfect sense. It's his first season, and that's the thing. That's the key point to this. It is his first season in senior football, and he's smashing it. He's absolutely smashing it. But he may not do that in the Championship because he may not get the opportunity.
No, and if he goes on loan to the Championship, he's not going to go to a top-end Championship club. He's going to go to a team that's fighting. Sheffield Wednesday type of club who's fighting for their lives, kind of thing. I don't think that's good for him, to be honest with you. But what do we know? Paul says his dad loves it here. Scott Kent says he has out of contract, so I'll be very surprised if they don't renew it. I completely agree. I think Man U will renew it. Again, having said that, it's almost if you could convince somebody to go and buy him for this football club, you'll make your money back 2 or 3 times over in 24 months' time. So sure, anyway.
Well, that's the thing. I spoke to Rob Scott years and years ago, and what he told me, he said, my remit, Tony Stewart has told me, what I've got to do is bring players in and sell them, and to essentially get value from them. It worked a little bit under Warney, but we never actually got the return on investment because of when we sold them. Then it kind of went out the window with Taylor and Evans. Liam Richardson were pointless, and so it feels like we're now buying players that we can get a return on investment. Martha, Denzel Hall, etc. Gore's one of them. If you could just get him in, it fits the ethos of what he's trying to do. Somebody who you can make money out of. But there's probably a lot of talking in sort of encouragement and making somebody realise that this is the best place for him as well.
Yeah. Well, if either Denzel Hall, Nombe, or Martha goes, you can have that's going to be a healthy fee that they're going to go for.
Oh, yeah.
Pump that back into Dan Gore if you can. Absolutely. The best thing about Dan Gore is nobody else outside Rotherham United seems to be talking about him as well.
Yeah, that's
maybe he is flying under the radar. And I think we should all make an agreement now. If you talk to another football club, do not mention Dan Gore. Don't tell anyone how good Dan Gore is. Maybe
we should stop talking about him on here. Delete all knowledge of it. Delete all conversations about positivity of Dan Gore.
I think Paul Vale were right. What Vale fans are absolutely right is rubbish. Absolutely rubbish.
I completely agree. I also think Keane Spencer has mentioned that was probably Keane Spencer's best 90 minutes for us. Obviously, got the goal at Barnsley when it was very good, but it was just superb yesterday. Keane Spencer, I think he deserves mention as well. And also, let's all praise Denzel Hall, Scott Kent. Denzel Hall had Cohen Bramall in his pocket. He's all up. Is that?
Not hard to have Bramall in your back pocket. As long as you can keep up with him, you're all right. He's just a
yeah, exactly. That's true. The good thing about Denzel Hall, Danny, is he's not on loan, so I'm free to fall in love with him, and I absolutely have fallen in love with Denzel Hall. I just can't see there's a better defender in the right wing back position in the league, Danny. He's just almost faultless in his defensive game.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a lot more defensive work than he has done recently, but even when he goes forward, he's fantastic as well because he's a tricky customer as a winger as well as a right back. But no, he just smothered Bramall completely, or like a weighted blanket on top of him. He just couldn't do anything against him. And even the lad they brought on, is Ali, I think he's called, Luton's guy who replaced Bramall, did same to him. I mean, he upset him a little bit because, fresh legs and all that sort of thing, but Hall worked him out within space of 10 minutes and he nullified him as well. It was a very comprehensive wing-back performance from Denzel Hall, but he does that very consistently as well. I'd argue that outside of Dan Gore, Hall is our most consistent performer. And he's got the eye for goal on occasion as well. But like you said, it makes it a bonus that he's our player and not on loan from anybody. But now Hall's another player that's going to go on to bigger and better things than Rotherham United. So we enjoy him whilst we've got him. I just hope it's beyond the season because I don't think that's fair on the fans, only giving us a year.
No. He's also favourite now to win the top scorer in the league for Rotherham. He's joint top scorer, and Sam Numby, he's probably not going to play for a while. So Hall is contender. He's a serious contender. We'll see. Is there anything else you boys want to mention from yesterday's game? We've gone long as it is, but that is what it is. Anything else?
Young Douglas again needed, and just more praise. I saw somebody yesterday on, I think it was Dean Hall, had put on Twitter about, it reminds him of Artell when Artell came in. Young lad, came from nowhere, just solid, wins more stuff in there. And it's like you're kind of running out of superlatives for that lad. I know we briefly mentioned him earlier on, but he's just come in, not even a central defender, and he's come in and he's hustling so. And he's getting stronger and stronger every game.
Yeah, I agree. And then if Tom Holmes comes back next week, he's got a hell of a player to learn off in terms of going forward as well, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, Matt Miller rightly says Dawson, and Dawson is looking rock solid as well. Thought he had very little to do, but what he did eventually was very, very good. Last couple of weeks, Dawson's, I think, stepped it up a level in terms of commanding his box. I think he's really, really has stepped up, and I'm really pleased for him. Mick, anything? Danny, anything?
No, I don't think so.
No, everything's good for me.
Excellent news. Right, we'll wrap up then. So, first of all, please make sure you subscribe now. Less than 50, 45 subscribers away from 2,000 subscribers. I was meant to tell you all at the start of the show to make sure you've subscribed. I forgot. So please just subscribe now because then I don't look as stupid for not doing it at the start of the show. If you are watching, you should make sure you give the video a thumbs up. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, make sure you follow us and retweet or post this one as well and give it a heart. If you're listening on iTunes and Spotify, give it a 5-star rating. Follow, subscribe, whatever it allows you to do. And also, don't forget, Lee McMahon, Cutler's Arms, Recon Saturday 29th. Mix there to sign anything you want. Also, listen to music on there as well. Some decent beer as well. We will be back on Thursday, which is a preview of Reading away, which we never win at Reading. I'll get some stats, but our record there is terrible. But we'll go through that on Thursday with the up-to-date injury news. We'll see you then. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. We will see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
For Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots! Ravel, vicious, but brilliant! The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United. What's got round the back? And Richie Wood has done it again! It's done! It's Georgie Kelly!
Do me a favor, drop me off